Syrian security forces have opened fire on protesters with reports of between 20 and 100 people dead on a day of unprecedented protest against President Bashar al-Assad.
We turn to the latest powder keg in the Middle East, Syria. A bloody day. At least 75 people were killed during pro-democracy demonstrations against the government of Bashar al-Assad.
For 4 years, the world has witnessed the war in Syria and the 4 million people it's displaced.
An estimated 6.6 million Syrian refugees are living outside their country's borders after years of civil war.
And it's uncertain when and if Syrians will ever be allowed to rebuild and return to their homes.
These refugees fled their country because of what happened and the rise of violence and persecution. Unless we reach a political settlements that provide justice and protect rights of all Syrian individuals, we cannot speak about returning these refugees.
My name is Omer and I'm 23 years old. I'm studying Media Institute College. My whole story started in 2011 when problems started in Syria. In Syria, there is some places where the Kurdish people are. They live there because they don't have country. And for some reason, they don't have any IDs. They don't have anything to prove they are living in this country or they have country at all. Later on in 2011, the government said, we might give these people an ID. Now maybe for me it wasn't a big problem, but for many, many people, when they go to university or any other places, it was not really a good feeling for them, because for some of them they had a good grade or things like that, and they couldn't go to uni because they don't have any ID and they're not allowed to travel out of the country. When the war started, some people, we used to have like a small side of the city near Damascus, and we used to live there. We were around 50 houses there, 50 families. We were safe there. We live our life as normal. Sometimes at night time or evening, these guys, they came. They hide between the houses, near the houses, and they start to shoot or bomb people in a motorway, because our house, like the opposite side was the motorway. Just after that, one of the houses is like 100 meters far away from my house. It was an empty house. The family there, they kind of moved, and this house was empty. And they bring to there an Arabic family. Now it's not about the Arabic family, but this family, they had much young men in their house. And these guys, we don't know what they work, we don't know where they go, where they come, because we don't need problems. I had like a group of friends, we used to play football. And just next to this house was like a big area that we played there. And once we was there, a car came to this house because it was right in a corner. The car stopped. 2 guys came, they went inside, and then after like 5 minutes, they came out. They opened the car box, and they had like something, they holding something really heavy for inside, but we don't know what it is. And by mistake, our ball went in this side. So one of my friends ran to bring the ball back, and when he came back, he said, Omar was a weapon. Dangerous weapon. And I've told him to tell his dad. And when he went back home, when my dad came back from war, I told him as well. My dad used to come back home like a late night, 11, 12. And for a couple of days he said, when I get back home, someone is tracking me, someone is spying on my car. I know someone is coming behind me, but I don't know who is it, because he's closed his mouth. Then later on he found out this person from this family who lived there. Day by day they get, like every day they come there and they shoot these people. Any officers, any person from the government, politics, anyone who go from there, they shoot him. When the thing gets worse, the government came there, they closed the road, and they told us to leave. And then my dad said, I will be renting like a farm, a small farm, and then you can come there and we will be living there. It's the other side of the city. And we said, okay, that's fine. We came back. We lived there around 8 months. I went back to school, my sisters, and yeah, was a good point. Then one day, someone is knocking our door. Then when I went back, these guys are the same people, and my dad knows him. All of them with the guns and stuff. They're not from the government side, they are the other side. And they came and they told my dad, you have to leave. We couldn't go to the conversation too much, because these people, they would have killed us. They don't care. We left the farm and we went to someone that we know. We went to his house and we lived there for a couple of days, just to get our house stuff, our furniture sorted out in a safe place. My dad, he stayed there because he was working, and we went back to my grandfather's house. We lived there about 2 months, and then my uncle moved to Iraq, so we went to take his house in our village. And we lived there for around 6 months. But the thing was, my dad used to work far away from us. It's like it's over 8. It's like 9 hours and so on. So he used to send money to us, and we just living there. But at the beginning of the ISIS in 2013, the beginning was in Syria. The police and the military there, they asked all the villages to send young people from their villages. Every village, I think, was 2 people. Send them to that point to look after the villages at night. For one night, they asked me to go, and we saw there was like a small mountain, and we saw a motorbike coming down from this place. There was an old guy with us with a Kalashnikov, and he said, we have to go and check this motorbike. I had a shotgun in me. From the point when we left where we was to that point, my heart was shaking. Like my whole body was shaking. I was so scared. What's gonna happen? Maybe these guys are having bomb. They will bomb it. You don't know who they are. You never been trained to do this work. I was so young. I was like 13 years old with a shotgun. I think the shotgun was heavier than me. Later that night, like 4 o'clock in the morning, they asked us to go home. When I went back home, my dad said, "What happened?" I told him, "This is what happened today." And he said, "You are my only son, I can't make you do this work." And he's an old man, so he can't go as well. So he said, "We're gonna leave to Iraq." We went to the board. The board was closed, and there was many people. Thousands of them. I think it was around 8 o'clock, they opened the board. But the thing was, there was a bridge on the water, and people from this side to the other side, they had to run over this bridge, so the bridge doesn't broke. We get to the other side, I think it was 8:45, and then when we get there, the government there and everyone just welcome people, and they start to bring buses and take them to where they will be living, which is a refugee camp. When we first arrived to that camp, was a plain ground, nothing on it. And they started to build this camp for us. For the first, I think it was 3 months, we used to be there because we haven't got our ID with us, so we can't actually leave the camp. It was all closed. And then later on we get our stuff sorted out. I had to move to the big city to work there to help my family. I was only 14 or 15 years old, and I used to work 12 hours a day as a washing cars. And for around 6 months I worked there. The work was hard, and we used to do quite a lot of hours. Sometimes I don't need to come back home because I had a day off from work every week. I don't need to come back home because the way costs you money. Later then, I started to look at changing my work. So I work in many places, and I start to change my work, which one gives me much more money to help my family more. But for the last first year, I used to change my work a lot. The only work that I've been there for 9 months was the last place, which is a coffee shop. I used to be a barista there. And yeah, so I had to finish my work. And because you need to do better for yourself, but you don't know how to do that. And I was watching lots of YouTube videos. So I had this idea on mind. I need to do something on YouTube or on TV or any other places to deliver the tradition of Kurdish people. When I was working there in Erbil, I became across loads of people. One of these people called Delil, and he was, that time he was 27, he was coffee shop manager. So day by day we get to know each other more, and we start to be really close friends. Delil asked me to come to his office, and he asked me if I want to be a barista, and I said, well, I don't know what that is. I don't know what the word barista means at all. And he said, don't worry, I will be helping you. Day by day I get better, and because we wasn't too busy, so I had a free time when I can do some research and find out about more stuff that barista does. And from there I started to learn how to design fruit plates and draw on a watermelon and things like that. After 3 months, the coffee shop where we was working, they closed, and the owner sold it to another one, and the other one don't need to open it, so we had to leave. And because me and Lily were very friendly, so he went to other place, he took me with him, and I go to other place, I take him with me. And day by day we worked in 3 or 4 different places together. He used to take me as a barista, we worked together in 2 or 3 places. Doing my research, I found it interesting to do some videos and just talk to people, like a vlogging style, or just doing a normal show on YouTube, because YouTube does give you this opportunity to talk whatever you need in a way you like, and people get to know you better. Because I was working in the morning, I used to do my research in a morning shift, because I had some free times for an hour or 2 hours. So I used to sit down under the table, the bar table, and just search on my laptop and find more things about what's out there and how people make things. In a day, I thought I'm ready to do a show, sort of reaction to other videos or old videos or songs and things like that, like a comedy show. And I found someone who's photography who gave this camera if you want to rent it for me. And I've rented this camera for him. And one of my friends who works with me came to help me. And my boss said, you can use my office to film there. It was a nice office, and we just been there and we filmed my first show. It was quite a nice time there, and I've learned a lot over the 5 years that I've spent there. I had a different life from when I was in Syria. And at the beginning when I was in Iraq, you know, at some stage in your life you were in a good place for yourself and your family. Then you went down a little bit, then you go down more, then you get up a little bit, just kind of you can see in front of you, and then you get down again. And when I get down again, this was at the beginning when I moved to Erbil, to the refugee camp. You just start from zero, from nothing. You own nothing. And but the last year when I was there, I was so good. I was doing my work, enjoying my time doing my videos, seeing people reaction to it. People talk to me from who I know, whether it's a customer or a friend or someone family knows. You get that point where you get confident, you know what you're doing, but you don't know what's going to be after. And when things get better, after I work in this coffee shop and I start to make videos, I get to know myself more, that I can do something if I move from here. In 2018, when things went well and we start to finish up where we are up to move here, I have no idea what's gonna happen, who is here, how it's gonna look like. We've arrived here in end of June 2018. Of course you know how to live, but you don't know how you're gonna live here. Because everything will be different for you. And of course the language. Because without language, like, you can't talk, you can't communicate with people. So they had someone from the county council who was a translator to, like, we get communicating with people and finish up our stuff here. And because we arrived in July, so there wasn't like much time to join any college, especially with non-English. For the first year we lost because we wasn't able to get to college. And the county council with a charity organization, they start to look at some English lesson 2 days a week. And we've been studying so hard for it because we need to get better, so we can study something and look at our future. But by that time, you really doesn't know anyone here. You have no friends, no one you know. You can go to him, you can ask him, get advice. And this is how it was hard for you to do. When we first started the lessons and we start to get better in English, we wanted to do more because we need something that gets us to apply for a college course and we get accepted. So the county council started to look at some other places that we can study English there. By that time I was looking at courses and we've applied for a media course in Taunton College, but they wouldn't accept me because I don't speak enough English. And just by a chance, we've looked at Street College website and we found the course that I need. So we had some volunteers that working with us. So they just phoned the college and they asked, we have someone who doesn't speak English and this is his situation and he would like to study media. And they said, yeah, for sure, send me his email and I will book a meeting with the course manager to see him, to see how we can help. Yeah. Just the first day in college, just you smell, the schools and studying has a special taste in your life. They had things that you could do in your free time. And I was free on a Wednesday afternoon, so I joined the data production, which is Little Shop of Horrors. So I did ask, I used to meet Bell from the sports center. And I just asked him, I would like to do that. And he said, well, let's go there. And we went there, we met the teacher, it was Charmaine. And he did ask her, this is Omar, but he don't speak any English, he would like to join. And I said, that's fine, come. And they was very welcoming. And I went there the first day, and I started to make some friends. Because, in a theater, you have to be very close to each other to perform better. So I did ask Charmaine to just give me a small position. So she did make me to join some of the dancing and singing parts as a choir. And we had so much fun with it. We did perform at 3 nights last year. This year I've joined the level 3 and we started, because my English was getting better and I had a part-time job in a supermarket. And in a supermarket, when you join people, you start to talk like them. Even if you don't understand, you make yourself understand. My English gets better. It's not perfect, but it's much better than before. And now as well, I get to that point where I've started to have a wide range of media product on my file with lots of work on them. I did design some website, I did some graphics, I did lots of things. And recently we started to work on the Lockdown Lounge podcast as well. So this was a huge transmission between my life. I wasn't thinking. I remember in a primary school when my teacher, the tutor asked you what you want to be in the future. And I was saying sometimes I want to be a lawyer, sometimes I want to be a pilot. And I wasn't sure what I'm doing. But this transaction, when I get to the media industry, I just feel like I can do what I need. No one can judge me. And the reason is why I didn't went to a TV. The TV will take you to their way of telling the story. They won't allow you to do what you need. Maybe some director, they will allow you if you have an interesting story, but not the whole thing. When I get to know the student better, I did film the Unplugged 2020 online course there for Stroke Life, the college music student, last year. And I did film the 1 week world this year as well. The one world week this year. So just getting to know each other more with the student. This was just something unexpected for me to have this much life. Now I've started to build my own company, to be a freelance worker. I do have lots of equipment now. I have a whole studio in my house. I don't have professional camera. I still have the 200D, the Canon 200D, but I'm doing a really nice job with it. So I decided, wait a second, maybe I can make some money before getting to uni. But when I start to build my experience from now, when I did finish uni, I will have everything I need. So I can start as a professional person in the media industry. And that's what I'm building now and I'm working on. And here we are. Yeah.